1960. It was the year that launched us into the space age, and at the same time introduced us to the country's youngest elected president, the power of the civil rights movement, and the wonders of the laser. If that weren't enough, 1960 also unwrapped the magic of a revolutionary new toy.
Etch-a-sketch draws and writes like magic. Turn the knobs and the lines go up and down and all around.
From the start, the Etch-a-sketch was a sensation and would become, according to the Toy Industry Association, one of the most memorable and creative toys of the 20th century. Today, as the Etch-a-sketch celebrates its 50th anniversary, the popularity of the toy remains, along with a select group of artists who still use the Etch-a-sketch to create professional linographic artwork. In fact, one lives in the Northwest, right here in the scenic community of Kalispell, Montana.
Is it a toy? Is it art? I'm not quite sure where it falls.
Welcome to the studio of Pauline Graziano, an official Ohio Art Etch-a-sketch artist. Now, you might expect with a title like that, this artist grew up with an Etch-a-sketch always in hand. Yet Pauline admits she didn't have much of an interest in the toy until she turned 30. Then, while running a successful woodworking business, something just clicked.
I had an idea to do a sketch, like I would sketch at night, after I came home from work or whatever. And I had an Etch-a-sketch, so I thought, oh, I'll do it on an Etch-a-sketch. And the sketch came out pretty good. Like, people are like, well, what's up with this? So as I had more ideas to do more sketches, I just kept doing them on Etch-a-sketches. And then I had someone ask me if I could do a portrait of their children on an Etch-a-sketch, and I'm like, well, I suppose I could. Let me give it a try.
For Pauline, that first portrait would turn out to be a valuable learning experience. She obviously had the artistic skills to draw incredible images. But in the world of Etch-a-sketch art, that wasn't enough. She had to find a way to make her images permanent. Eventually, after much trial and error, Pauline decided to go directly to the source, Ohio Art.
I was speaking with Martin Kilgalon, and he is the vice president, head of marketing. And he said, well, for a select few, we'll send the Etch-a-sketch to them disassembled. That way, after it's complete, you can put it into a box that has no powder in it. And I said, well, how do you become one of these artists? And he said, well, it's a select group, and you send us examples of your work, and then we decide from there. So I emailed them some images of my work, and I immediately got the response, how many do you need and where do you want us to send them? Which was very nice. So from that day forward, I was an official Etch-a-sketch artist.
Since unlocking the secrets of the Etch-a-sketch a decade ago, Pauline has created a myriad of detailed images. And in every case, each one started out as a pencil drawing.
How I draw with an Etch-a-sketch is different than how I draw with a pencil. That said, I always do a hand drawing first because I need to work out the composition, different textures, and how I'm going to handle different things. Originally, I would just draw on an Etch-a-sketch the same way that I would draw with my hand. But after doing it for a while, I thought, why not stay more true to the medium? It's a lot easier to do straight lines, but to get your darks dark, you have to go over it a lot of times. And as you can see, all you're doing is scratching that silver powder off of the surface. Then when you're done and you have your image the way you want it, then I remove this. I take this, I cut these wires here, and I take this out completely, and there's no powder to fill in the lines. And then I glue the top on, and then the knobs. You can shake it all day long.
Given her status as a member of the OhioArt.com Hall of Fame, Pauline decided she needed to find a creative way to celebrate this year's golden anniversary of the Etch-a-sketch. So she drew up a plan, which involves creating 50 drawings in 52 weeks, and at the same time, documenting her progress online.
The reason that I did it was, one, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, but then also what I found, because I have 2 toddlers, my life is very full, I have a lot of things that I do, I almost need to impose a deadline on myself. So I've set myself up for this impossible challenge. And although I have the pressure of, oh, I need to do more, it keeps me coming down here. Even when I'm tired, even, if it's been a long day or whatever, I still come down here.
These days, artistry is expressed in a variety of different ways. And even though most in the art world would regard the Etch-a-sketch as an odd choice of media, for Pauline Graziano, it's proven to be, line by line, the right choice for her.
First of all, the medium it's very It seems very limited, but you get a picture quality that you don't get with anything else. But the other thing that keeps me coming back is that many people have had an Etch-a-sketch and they've tried to, they've given up after they do the staircase. And so to see an actual image on an Etch-a-sketch, it piques their curiosity, and so it opens up interesting doors. It's taking me on a very interesting path through life.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.